Hello and welcome back to this Q&A series. We are up to episode 4 now, and let's just get rolling on with the questions because I'm sure you know what the deal is by now. You give me questions, I answer them, and flip reverse them back to you. You heard me. So yeah, thank you for all your questions. Continued questions, which keep these episodes alive, and we'll get on with it. So question number 1 is from Matthew the Conqueror. Who knows what he conquered? But he's a conqueror. And his question is, what got you to make a gaming channel? So this is a question that has come up a few times in the past. You know, I've been going for nearly 4 years now. It's a question that people have asked before, but I am always willing to answer it again because it might help someone, it might inspire someone, it might just answer a few questions, itself being a question. So, what made me make a gaming channel? Well, it was a mixture of a few different things that all just sort of happened around the same time. I say that, but my memory is getting worse and worse now, and I'm pretty sure every time I've answered this question I've said something slightly different. So I'm going to try and amalgamate all the things I've said in the past, hopefully. I don't know. Right, okay, so the main one was, this was back in 2011, and at the time I wanted to do something on the internet. I wanted to create something. I wanted to contribute. I wanted to take part in this whole, not necessarily YouTube, it could have been anything. It could have been a blog, it could have been a vlog, it could have been reviews, a website, whatever. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to do something. I'd say I preferred YouTube because I watched a lot of YouTube and I wanted to have a go myself, but anything would have been fine. I remember sort of thinking, oh, vlogs would be cool, I should do vlogging, and I'm so glad I didn't because well, I would not have lasted very long, I'm sure, because vlogging is just, firstly, my life is not interesting enough to vlog. It would just have been you know, went to work, come back home. That's my life. Yay, everyone wants to hear about that. So it's a good thing I didn't do vlogging, and also I don't really like where the vlogging has turned to now with the cut, the slicing the video every second between every word. It's a cut and a cut and a cut, and it's loud and obnoxious, and I don't like it. And you have a lot of British vloggers, actually, a lot of them, and they're all they have this chirpy music in the background, and it just bugs me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna sound like a bar humbug. Christmas has passed, but still, I don't like those types of vlogs. Really, they are kind of a bit. I don't know. You don't really feel like you know the person. But anyway, I'm on a tangent now. So yeah, a vlog was something I was gonna do maybe, but then I thought, actually, let's play. And the reason why I decided upon let's play is because of something else that happened. So you had that bit there. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You had me wanting to do something on the internet. Jigsaw piece number 2 was I'd recently finished watching the whole of Slim Kirby's Simpsons Hit and Run Let's Play. I get lots of comments now where people have said, just watched this Let's Play from start to finish, hated it, loved it, whatever, doesn't matter. But yeah, that's what you do. You start with a Let's Play, and some people can just run straight through it, one episode after the other, and that's what I did with Slim Kirby's Hit and Run. And once I'd finished watching that, I was thinking, yeah, these are really cool. I like the idea of commentating over games. I really enjoyed that. I'd like to have a go myself. So that's Jigsaw piece number 2. Jigsaw piece number 3 was a small thing, but I was back then quite a fan of the Yogscast. I still am today, not as much. Very different to how they were back then, but I was a big fan of the Yogscast, and I remember hearing Lewis Brindley. He said something about, I don't know, it was just a small kind of little comment, and it just attracted my attention because of what I was thinking at the time, and it was something like concerning, well, not necessarily concerning just YouTube videos. I think concerning anything in life. It was sort of, if you think you can do a better job of something, you probably can, which means just try it. Now, looking back, I'm not sure if that was necessarily true because my early Let's Plays were probably quite bad. I think I was very lucky in the fact that there was not any other PS2 Simpsons game Let's Play at the time. So mine was the only one there, which meant really it was the only one people watched. So even if it was bad, which it was, people watched it because it's all they had to pick from. But no, nonetheless, I did think, hey, I could do a good job of doing this of this Let's Play, because tell a lie, there was one Let's Play I saw of that game, but it was for the Wii. And it was this guy doing this Let's Play of it, and I thought this guy sucked. He didn't know what he was talking about. He kept on being really loud and obnoxious, and I was thinking, I could do a better Let's Play than that. So I did, and yeah, so that was the third jigsaw piece, is that I thought, yeah, I could do a better job of what this other guy's done with that game. And the fourth puzzle piece is the game itself, the Simpsons game. So I'd recently watched Hit and Run by Slim Kirby. I had wanted to do something on the internet, and I had recently played through the whole game. We marathoned it, I guess is the term, with a friend, the Simpsons game. From start to finish, we got all the collectibles, and once we'd finished that and he'd buggered off home, I was just there and I was thinking, well, we've just played the whole game now. I know exactly how to finish that game from start to finish. I know where all the collectibles are. I could quite easily make a Let's Play of that because I know it's fresh in my mind. And I'm a big fan of The Simpsons anyway. And I thought, yeah, I could do a video on that. So they all sort of then just joined together. I was like, yeah, okay, I could do Simpsons game because I'd watched the Hit and Run Let's Play and I really liked it. I thought I could do a better job of someone else doing the Simpsons game Let's Play. And I thought, yeah, this would actually fit into what I want to do on the internet. So, man, that was a long answer to that question. I'm probably bored you all to death. I'm sorry about that, but there you go. So, basically, to anyone that thinks... And notice that the thing in there that's missing, which I think a lot of people have now, is I didn't do it to become big or famous or successful. Okay? I could be like, oh, I'm so great, look at me, I did it, I'm so innocent and pure, but it's the truth, I didn't care. I just wanted to make a video. And I think that's what a lot of people fall into the trap of now, is that they go on there and they think, right, I'm going to start making videos and I want to get 10,000 subscribers by the end of year 1. And they get into the facts and the figures and the data and and the graphs and all that sort of stuff, and it's just the wrong way of going about it, in my opinion anyway. Completely wrong. So that's what made me want to make a gaming channel. That's why I did, and I've never looked back ever since. So yeah, to any advice you can take away from that, I guess, is just do it for yourself. And do it for the fun of it, because really that makes the world of difference. It really does. Okay, let's get off that question, because I spoke for way too long then. Okay. Next question is from Eduardo. Nice name. And his question is, what is the best game you have ever played in your life? In my entire life. Okay. Well, like last episode. Oh, and also, tea's there. And has it gone cold yet? Oh, see, that's like perfect drinking temperature. Damn this Q&A. Yeah, I have wrote down a few notes like last episode, but for this one I didn't. I just put best game ? Crap. It's because it's a difficult question. What's the best game I've played in my entire life? Well, I don't want to keep bringing up the same games in these episodes, but I am. I'm just talking about the same games. It's Simpsons, it's GTA, it's Time Splitters, but there'll be other questions where it's not about gaming eventually. So, yeah, remember, they don't have to be gaming-related questions at all. Definitely not. More random, the better. But the best game I've ever played, well, I think best can mean a lot of things, though. One that I've enjoyed the most, the one that I can appreciate the most, the one I'm most impressed by. I'm just going to go with, I'm sorry I'm going to say this because it's dull, but I'm going to go GTA San Andreas. I could say GTA 5 because it's, graphics are better, storyline is, well, I don't know about the storyline, but much more detail, much more depth. But at the time, 2004, GTA San Andreas came out. It was pretty damn amazing what was in that game, the sheer size of it, the scale, and the depth to it. And I think I really enjoyed that. And it, as I mentioned in previous episodes, it shaped a lot of things, my musical tastes, and just the games I like, probably. It definitely shaped how I like open sandbox games. So I'm going to say GTA San Andreas. There you go. Shoot me, Same answers all the time, whatever. But yeah, we'll stick with that. So, moving on to question number 3 from Larry, who's a rude dude. Larry Rude Dude. It's a good name. His question is, what is your stance on the Gamergate? On Gamergate. Ooh. Much like gaming piracy, this is one of those topics where you could just spend hours fragmenting all of the events of it and discussing every minute detail, but I'm not going to do that because, well, to be honest, I don't really know too much about it. Obviously I've heard of it, I've watched a few things about it, but I didn't really follow that mess of a train wreck. But that being so bear in mind that, because my opinions aren't going to be fully founded on what actually happened, I did do a little bit of research and I have known a little bit, but yeah, I certainly didn't follow this in depth in any way. So that being said, it's still a pretty obvious thing to argue against, because you don't want harassment and death threats and all these things, rape and whatever the hell people said to these women across the internet. You don't want that even if you don't know about it. So yes, let's just get started with that. So Gamergate, to anyone who's not aware of what that was, it was basically it was an amalgamation of lots of things, but really it boiled down to harassment of women on the internet who were... Well, actually, no, there's another thing as well about a video game developer. What was her name? Quinn, who apparently slept with a reviewer on Kotaku to get good reviews of her game. And then it sort of stemmed from there. Then you had another woman called Anita Sarkeesian, who did a series of videos that was kickstarted. So it's funded by people. She made a series of videos about women in video games, and people were not happy with the way she displayed and sort of cherry-picked some things. I'm not saying she did, but that's what they thought, that she cherry-picked examples to make all games look bad against women. And then it kind of any other woman who started to say stuff about this. I think another one was Felicia Day. She started getting, and it just snowballed into people behind their keyboards, behind their monitors, having a sense of anonymity, which you do get. There is anonymity on the internet, and therefore saying whatever the hell they wanted to. As terrible as it was, one of them, or maybe even two of them, or more, had to move, or at least get some help from the authorities because of death threats. And that's not on. That sense of anonymity behind the internet is something that is very easily abused. Very easily. And there's people that say in these situations, I know there are people that say this because you hear about them, that, oh well, if they put themselves out there on the internet, they should expect that. That's just what the internet does, as if it's a given, which I think is a terrible way of seeing things. Oh, well, that's just the way it is. If you look back on history, if that mindset was the way it was, then we'd still be in the Dark Ages, because, well, that's the way it is, nothing we can do about it. No, there is things we can do about it, or there are things that we should do about it. But yeah, it's almost like when people say that, when they say, oh well, because they're a public figure on the internet, they should expect this sort of response, be it abuse on Twitter and threats and harassment. It's like that recent leak or hack of the celebrities' cloud data. I think it was the cloud data. You had Jennifer Lawrence was the main one, but there were tons of others, and it was their private photos, nude photos in some cases, and it's sort of the same in that because they're celebrities, it's absolutely fine to steal their photos, their private photos, and share them on the internet. No, absolutely not. Oh yeah, Jennifer Lawrence, because she's in films and she wins Oscars and everything, it's fine, we can see her nudie pics. No, it's not. No, it's not in any way, shape or form. It's very weird, the internet, when it comes to that sort of thing, where they almost have a sense of entitlement. Like, yeah, well, Why can't we see these photos? Why can't I see this stuff? But so that's my view on that. Obviously, I don't know how anyone could argue against that. Oh yeah, saying I'm going to kill you is fine. It's fine. No, but that being said, there are some things I didn't necessarily agree with. Particularly, I didn't really follow the I forgot her first name now, but the Quinn, the game developer. Didn't really follow that bit, but I did look at a few of Anita Sarkeesian's videos. Like, I think they were called Women in Tropes, something about tropes. So she made these She made a YouTube series which analysed women in video games and how they are portrayed and how they are degraded. Okay, that's a nice idea. It was crowdfunded, and that's all well and good. I think it's very important that you want to highlight those things, but I don't like the way she did it. I'm just going to say, I don't. This is completely personal, but I watched 2 or 3 of those videos of part of that series, and it's literally like she wrote this very, very detailed and very intelligent essay. Okay, she wrote it, and then she literally stood in front of a camera and said it. And I don't think that's the way to do it. I don't, because I watch these videos, and maybe it's because I'm dumb, maybe it's because I'm slow. I hope not. But I watched them, and she's just saying these words at you as you're watching, and big words, you know, and big words that sound like she's saying them just for the sake of using complex words. And I don't think that's the best way to portray this sort of debate, because you lose a lot of people when you talk like that. And I'm not saying she should dumb herself down, but she should. But the way she did it, she didn't make it easy for herself in terms of. There's probably better ways that you could say that sort of stuff. At least for me, I think making it, because standing in front of a camera and just saying these words, it is a bit lazy. It is a bit. No, she has shots of her in front of the camera saying the stuff, then you had overlays of games and examples. I just didn't like the fact that it was all talking at me and, literally taking an essay and saying it out loud, which I don't think is the way you want to make these sort of things. And yeah, for me, it just sounded like some parts was trying to sound smart for the sake of sounding smart, when really there's simpler ways you could describe these things, which maybe could lead to more people understanding, and therefore getting behind the idea. And that's beside the fact of whether I actually agree with what she said for some things, because, like I mentioned, some people think she cherry-picked examples in games, and that led to sort of a misrepresented, I guess. So that's the only thing I'm a little bit annoyed about, is that I think the actual video format was not the best. But yeah, when it comes to the whole abuse thing, it's terrible, and that should not be the case at all, especially with Twitter. Twitter's now a big part of all that. People say things on there which they shouldn't, and I think now people are actually, or at least the law is catching up with that, and people are getting arrested now for what they say on Twitter. Someone recently, there was this terrible crash in Glasgow over here in Britain. A lorry truck just crashed into this crowd of people in this main street in Glasgow and killed, I think, about 10 people. And it's terrible. And this guy afterwards made this sort of crude joke on Twitter about the deaths, and got arrested for it. Now, that then leads itself into free speech, because then Americans like to say, oh, well, technically in Britain you don't have the freedom of speech. And I guess that's true, because he got arrested for a joke. Whether that was right or not, I don't know. But it shows that you're definitely not untouchable on the internet. Definitely not. Ooh, okay. That was a lot. A lot to talk about. So let's just go with a couple more questions then, and then we'll probably end off this episode, because I have spoken way too much about that and about starting a YouTube channel. Next question is from Dotson232, and their question is, who do you think is the best game developer? And in brackets afterwards it says, the games that have the least amount of bugs in them. Well, you see, before I read the bit in the brackets, I was going to say, okay, best game developer. Well, I don't I don't particularly follow game developers. I just follow the games. I don't have many opinions on game developers. I mean, obviously you can say, like I've mentioned in the past, Ubisoft, EA, or they're the devil, they're Hitler, blah blah blah. But they're the biggies. There's tons more than that I just don't know much about. So I was gonna say, because I know about them, Mojang for Minecraft. They're pretty good as far as developers go. They release updates. They fix things on time, relatively on time. They listen to the community. A massive amount of features in Minecraft have been from players. The slime blocks, the pistons were a mod before, and they just added it into the game. So they're good like that. They do listen to the community. They help with testing. They all that sort of stuff. But then when you go onto the brackets, the games that have the least amount of bugs in them, Minecraft is full of them. Full of the bugs. For every bug they fix, they create 3 more. It's 1 step forward, 2 steps back with that. So if we're going to measure it on that scale, I don't know what to say. Ignoring the bracket bit about bugs, I'd say Mojang. If we're including about bugs, I don't know. Rockstar games don't seem to have many bugs in them. But then you could argue, oh well, they promised heists for GTA 5 last year, and we have only just got a trailer for them. But I don't know. But I'm still going to say Mojang, even with the bugs, because at least they keep on top of the bugs for the most part and get rid of them, or try to get rid of them. Okay? That may change now that they've been bought by Microsoft. Who knows? Who knows what? We haven't really heard much about that at all, really. Okay, so we'll end off this episode with one last question from Kyle Bennett, and he asks, do you like the Mass Effect trilogy? Answer is I don't know. I don't know. I have tried a little bit of the first Mass Effect. I did buy it. And I didn't hate it. I definitely didn't hate it. It really reminded me, obviously because it's made by the same developers, of Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. BioWare. And I love that game. Star Wars KOTOR, as it's shortened to. I loved it. I loved the aspect of exploration with your party, your party members, and the upgrading and leveling up, fighting all the, being able to pause and plan how you're going to attack things. I loved it. I loved that sort of RPG element to it. But then I think, did I love that bit, or did I really just love that it was in a Star Wars skin? Did I love the fact it was Star Wars? Because I started playing Mass Effect and I couldn't really get into it very much. Maybe it's because it's the first one, so it's a little bit rough around the edges. But I think people say the second one's the best. I don't know. But I am going to give it another go. I think it is a game I will like if I just give it enough attention. But then that being said, there are now plenty of other games that are getting in the way of that. Now I've got a PS4, I've been playing a bit of Destiny and Sherlock Holmes and a couple of other games. So I will go back to Mass Effect and I probably will like it. But we'll see. Only time will tell for that. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Q&A series. Still haven't really got a proper name for this. I just call it Q&A. Thank you for your questions there. Very interesting. And obviously, as per usual, I will flip them around and ask you the same ones. Particularly if you make a gaming channel, I'd like to know about that. Why you made it. What your best game is. Your stance on Gamergate might be a little bit complicated to explain in a comment, but you can have a go. And the best game developer as well. Mass Effect, if you want it. But I'm sure a lot of people like that game. Remember, you can leave me more questions in the comments. I will add them to a list. You can tweet them at me, or you can fill in the Google form, which will be in the description below. I'll welcome any more questions. I hugely do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.